Two more suits for Deshaun Watson to battle. PJ Tucker gets traded to the Bucks. Netflix, is it really cheaper? Plus codes, plus all that and more. And Kelly IKO joins me in hour number 2 to talk Rockets. Lego!
Live from the BiffNet Studios World Headquarters in Spring, Texas, it's Barry on Deck, hosted by former ESPN Houston radio host and stand-up comedian Barry Laminack, starring Oliver the Cat. Written by Barry Laminack, produced by Barry Laminack, directed by, you guessed it, Barry Laminack, featuring sports, entertainment, special guests, film sessions, and some drinking. Okay, a lot of drinking. Viewer discretion is advised. And now, here's your host, Barry Laminack.
What's up, you damn dirty deckheads? Welcome to Barry on Deck. I am your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for being here. Today is Thursday, March 18, 2021, and this is episode number 214 of Barry on Deck. I can't believe we made it to lucky number 214. There's nothing special about that. Hey, thank you guys for joining the show today. I always appreciate it when you actually are here. It's amazing that people still tune in. I'm excited for you because Kelly IKO's going to join me at 3:30. So if you're an NBA fan, if you're a Rockets fan, he's going to be in the Heezy, I think. Let me make sure because he didn't get back to me. Good. Okay. So yeah, Kelly IKO at 3:30. Plus we got a ton to get to. 2 more allegations with Deshaun Watson. PJ Tucker got traded. Tons of other stuff to talk about the tournament and what players are doing and the backlash that well, not backlash, but they're fighting back. All of that and a whole lot more. So we've got a fun 2 hours of Barry on Deck ahead. I want to remind you, if you can't watch on YouTube, you can also listen live on Podbean. Just download the Podbean app. You'll follow Barry on Deck on Podbean. You'll be able to listen live. You can also listen later on podcast if maybe watching isn't your thing. I do want to warn you, if you're listening live right now or you are listening to this later as a podcast, this is a visual show. It is a YouTube-based live 2-hour sports and entertainment show. So it's always the best experience to watch it live or later on YouTube. And to do that, just go to youtube.com/Barry is funny. All right. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get to the most important thing of each show. And that's who the greatest deckhead in the world is for the day. And today, the greatest of the greatest deckheads is Fidel Limon, because we finally have another Triple Crown winner. Fidel was first in on the chat. He was the first like, and he got the first super chat in. My friend, congratulations. You are the most amazing deckhead from 204 to 358. Joe Pro said not first. Not even by a country ass mile, Joe Pro. So Fidel Limon, my friend, congratulations to you. Thank you so much for doing what you do. I'm looking at the live studio. I see RJG0411 is in the studio. What's up, Playboy? And I see Chris D. Both of those cats on the Podbean with some others. So we're rocking and a rolling. Let's do this chat. If you're new to the show, maybe you're listening on the podcast or you're just tuning in on the YouTubes for the first time. We do what's called chat, where I shout out the chat. And I'm not doing it on Podbean. You got to be on YouTube to get in these shout outs, even though Francisco's over there. Okay, I'm not. Oh, that's Black Sheep. Okay, what's up, Robert Geiger? So let's do the shout outs on the chat. Fidel Limon, we got Keith Sager in the building. My sweet, sweet Donna. So happy for you. Justin Swinford is here. Ray Lucio. What's up, homie? Donovan Rogers, I got. Total Dallas. D Modem. Fidel, we got. Brandon Martinez. CC. Here's Steven the Weather Guy's weather update that he does all the time. Current conditions at BiffNet World Headquarters, 63 degrees. Dew point, 34 degrees. Sunny skies, 30% chance. I'm wondering if these are getting old. I mean, I keep reading them, so you keep posting them, homie. CC's in the building. See, CC said no. The answer is no, Uzi. We love your weather reports. You know, if you get creative. Reach out to some of the deckheads for some new ones. What's up, Cisco? Who else is here? John Dory's in the building. C is here. What's up, homie? Eric Resendez. Good to see you, TDP. G-Man. What's up, dog? BTK Killer. Y'all don't get kilted in. BTK's in the building. Aaron J. Bryant. What's up, homie? Lamb Bomb. I mean, I don't have anything, but he just put the Lamb Bomb sign, so I had to do it. Fidel's an extra shot today. Good for you, buddy. Yeah, with the Lamb Bomb. What up, Chris Reyes? Mr. 1%. You know I love you. Gregory Vega Jr. in the building. My posse's on Broadway. Oh, that's so good. Tony Garza said, I finished up the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. 100 times better than the original. We're going to discuss this today, Tony Garza, so hang out for that for sure. Who else is in the building? Rev House. Astros is next weekend. Yeah. Who else? Jen. What's up, Jen? Who else is in the building? Sylvia. Man, yo, I love Sylvia so much. Y'all don't even know. She's the best. Who else? Marsha, I hope you had a wonderful birthday. VB's in the building. VB gave away a ton of money to Special Pals because you and the deckheads are amazing. So good shit on that. SVG's in the building. What's up, dog? Who else? Pete Jones. What's up? Okay. That's enough shouty shouts. Now, one, if you joined us last night for Food of Ages on Facebook, thank you so much for tuning in. Shaq and I had a blast. We got drunk. We did a lot of crazy shit. If you've missed Food of Ages, it's just me and my old Houston Game Day co-host, Mike Liebeshock, every other Wednesday, just talking food and really just getting off script and being crazy. Mike downed a Capri Sun in 18 seconds. I went back and looked at the footage. The world record is 16.9. My guy did it in 18. It was off the meat. Yeah, Food of Ages was fun. Thank you guys for tuning in, Donna and Dandy Dan and Alan Denson and everybody else. Super fun times, and I'm hoping to see that show grow from here. So if you like talking food and craziness, tune in for that. Terrence, better late than never, buddy. All right, let's get to this. I don't have sports headlines for you, by the way. I didn't have time to do that. I don't think we need sports headlines on a day like today when we've got PJ Tucker, and more importantly, we've got to get into more of this Deshaun Watson allegations that are coming out. There has now been... Ed Woodward said, here's the Netflix code, 365. Ed, what is that? Tell the chat. I need to know. We're going to get to that in probably in hour number 2 at some point about the Netflix code. Is that adult? Is that like NC-17 porn? If so, I'm going to write that down. I'll remember it. Okay. So we now have 3 allegations that have been filed against Deshaun Watson from Tony Busby. I still stand by what I said yesterday. That, one, believe women. These 3 women were brave enough to come forward with their story, and until we know otherwise, I am going to believe them. At the same time, I am skeptical because of who is filing these charges, not because of the women. Tony Busby is an ambulance-chasing money hound. That's what he is. You need look no further than his IG to know that. But that doesn't mean that what he's doing in this particular moment isn't necessarily the right thing. It just makes me skeptical about what's going on. Everybody wants to believe Deshaun Watson too. Everybody's like, no way. I mean, I know him, this and that and the other. Listen, as I said yesterday, I'm going to keep this short and sweet because if you want to watch, go. I spent 20, 30 minutes on this yesterday, but it's real simple. Nobody thought Bill Cosby would be capable of doing what he did, and yet he did it. So I don't want to just go, oh, well, he's our quarterback. This is a smear campaign by the Texans. It can't be true. I think we have to reserve judgment. But the more that these lawsuits come out, and I actually have a couple of them, the actual lawsuit, and you and I are about to go through them together online. We're going to scroll through and read some of this stuff. It's disturbing. If true, it's very disturbing. And again, I want to point out, I want to reiterate, I understand all of the different feelings surrounding this case, but my bottom line is I'm never not going to believe a woman when she comes forward with allegations of sexual assault or sexual abuse. I'm not willing to do that. I would rather be wrong in my support of them the 1 to 2 to 5% of the time that it ends up being false allegations. I would rather be wrong in that than to dismiss the other 95 to 98% of the cases that are real. And that's a slippery slope. And look, there are people that will argue with me, yeah, but that 2%, it's not fair. I get it. I do. I understand it. Yeah. Cece said, I mean, I also thought Darren Sharper was amazing at one time. I mean, there's all these cases and instances where you think, no, not that guy. No way. And it ends up being that, yeah, it was. So let's talk about what we know. Let's not speculate. Let's not pontificate. Let's talk about what we know. We know there have been 3 lawsuits filed against Deshaun Watson in court, civil court, not criminal court. All 3 lawsuits were filed by 3 different masseuses. All 3 of the allegations range in similarity. All 3 of them filed by the same lawyer. Not each masseuse getting their own lawyer, each masseuse using Tony Busby to file the lawsuit here in Houston. We also know that Deshaun Watson has gone out and gotten Rusty Hardin to defend him. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you live in the city of Houston and you're trying to win a case, you don't go get Tony Busby. You get Rusty Hardin. That's just how it goes. The top lawyer, maybe in the state, definitely in the city of Houston by far. So this is what we know. These are not opinions of mine. That was all facts, except the part about him being the top lawyer. That might be arguable. So let's do this. I'm going to jump into this right away. I'm going to try to keep up with the chat and some of your opinions on this because it does matter to me. But I want to go through some of this so that you guys, if you haven't seen it yet, I want you to see some of this. Cece said also, if you aren't guilty, you don't get Rusty. Listen, I think when you have a guy, I understand that, Cece, but I think too, sometimes you could look at that in reverse too, where Tony Busby is he's a jackal, you know, he's a wild hyena. He's going to latch on and get everything he can, no matter what, and try to, if it's not true, he's still going to try to make you look bad to get that money. And so you go out and get the biggest name you can get to defend yourself vigorously and protect your name. That's another way to look at it. I mean, what you say has merit for sure. Hal said, what about people that used Rusty? True too. Walt Walker said, I know women personally that would have done whatever kink Darren Sharper was into, and he still did weird stuff. Sick mind. Yeah. Total Dallas said, what is the earliest point of contact between these women and still no criminal liability? That's a question that a lot of people keep raising. Tony said, I'm getting the Texas Hammer, not Rusty Hardin. I'm not even going to try to do it. Joel's not here. By the way, did their show start? I saw that there was some discussions on the Discord, which love you guys that are going to rock with me. And I still say support Joel and Nick, man. Those are my guys. We would not be doing it this way if we had our druthers. We'd all be doing a show together. So I don't want anyone out there, by the way, to think that there's any animosity or anything other than 100% love between Joel, Nick, and myself. This is a decision that ESPN did when I did this show between 2 and 4 p.m. I tried to make it so that I wasn't competing with Joel and Nick and whatever show they were doing. So just know that none of us wanted it this way. Now, I never thought Michael Jackson would have done what he did, Robert Likes Beer says. You know, there are certain things that make you think differently or appear differently. See some support, Joel and Nick from 1 to 204. But I don't know. I don't want to, it's a slippery slope. And again, I don't want to start speculating. But again, I don't want to not believe these women that have come forward. So here is one of the lawsuits. I'm going to put this on the screen and we're going to kind of peruse this together here. As I scroll through this, here is the summary of the lawsuit. Defendant Deshaun Watson is an NFL player who currently plays quarterback for the Houston Texans. Plaintiff is a licensed massage therapist who works from home. Watson solicited plaintiff for a massage at her house in March of 2020. During the massage session, Watson assaulted plaintiff by touching her with his penis. Plaintiff brings this case seeking the minimal compensatory damages that implicate this honorable court subject matter jurisdiction to prevent Watson from further like conduct. So it goes through some of the background of the case. And let's get to, we can skip some of this. So Watson reached out to her. Defendant Watson first made contact with plaintiff on Instagram. He inquired about wanting a massage on March 28th. Plaintiff routinely provides professional massages in her home. Plaintiff never worked with any athletes from the Texans. Plaintiff found it somewhat peculiar that an NFL player would request a massage from her because she is not yet well established. It goes on to say, plaintiff was excited and encouraged that a local professional football player was seeking her services. Plaintiff agreed to the request. Prior to the schedule, Watson described what he was looking for. He told plaintiff he wanted a massage for relaxation, typical sports massage. Plaintiff indicated she understood Watson's request. Plaintiff, as per her marketing, typically specializes in sports massages. All right. Watson and plaintiff continue to exchange messages on Instagram in order to arrange the schedule. A massage was ultimately scheduled to take place at the plaintiff's house on March 30th. Now, here's where I want you to pay attention to some of this. Watson specifically asked plaintiff if she was going to be alone at the house when he arrived, which gave plaintiff some pause. Specifically, Watson said, "Am I expecting to see someone else there? Is it just you?" Nevertheless, at first perplexed by the text, after some thought, plaintiff concluded that Watson likely wanted privacy and did not want to be bothered by those impressed by his stature. Nick gets into what happened. Watson was lying on the table, completely naked with only a small towel covering his groin. Watson brought the small towel. When she entered the room, he began to aggressively dictate how he wanted the massage to be performed. Watson said, "Don't use your knuckles, elbows during the massage, only use your hands." And Watson repeatedly stated that he wanted to focus on his groin area. About 25 minutes into the massage, and despite attempting to be appreciative and accommodating to his conduct, due to Watson's comments and behavior, the plaintiff began to feel extremely uncomfortable. It became apparent that Watson wanted a massage for only one reason: sex. Scared and a bit confused and not wanting to upset the much bigger and athletic Watson, plaintiff did not know what to do. She did not want to confront Watson because she feared for her safety and possible retaliation. At the same time, she wanted the massage to be over and wanted him out of her house. As she was trying to figure out how to extract herself, Watson continued to aggressively attempt to steer the conversation to how plaintiff was not rubbing him the way he wanted. At one point, he purposely exposed the tip of his penis from under the towel. Watson was at this point fully erect and moved his body so he could expose himself more. As a result of moving his hips, Watson purposely touched plaintiff's hand with the tip of his erect penis. By now, plaintiff was scared and started crying. She only wanted to leave in response to asking her in response to her asking him to leave, and to her crying, Watson said, "I know you have a career," and this is important, quote, "I know you have a career and a reputation, and I know you would hate for someone to mess with yours, just like I don't want anyone messing with mine." Later, Watson reached out via text to apologize for the incident. A few weeks later, plaintiff received direct messages on Instagram from other NFL players saying that Big D sent them. So, it does sound horrific, Marsha. And this is why I wanted to read this. And this is why I wanted to take the time, because a lot of times what you guys and I will allow to happen is the media or somebody else will tell us bits and pieces. What I just did is I took the whole thing, what was filed in court that I have access to, and I pretty much read you all, skipped some of the stuff that you can obviously see if you wanted to. Because some of it is discussion, right? Some of it is legal stuff. Like there's a sentence that says the NFL is no stranger to scandal, certainly when it comes to offenses against women. I mean, that doesn't, to me, pertain to the case. What's up, Scott Hansa? Talking to Deshaun Watson here. So this is what they have filed. Now, the interesting thing about this, in my opinion, when you think about it, is there are discussions of IG messages, direct messages. There's also several text messages. We'll see if those can be produced. In this document that was filed, if you read further down, it talks about the fact that they expect him, as the defendant in the case, to not destroy any of the evidence that should be made available. That would mean the text messages on his side of the phone, as well as IG messages or whatever else. So all of that have to come into play. So again, That was exactly what was in the first thing that was filed. Now, yep, SVG said it seems like a lot of this could be proved. A lot of the circumstances surrounding it. I don't think that there's anything that could be proved in that room when it was just the two of them. It becomes a he said, she said. That's what this is going to come down to. Will there be stuff that says Big D sent me? Does that mean anything? No, that doesn't mean anything. Will there be text messages? The one text message that's going to be very interesting is the one that says, I'm sorry, which was, if we go back, the one that specifically said, where did it go? Later, Watson reached out to plaintiff via text message to apologize for the incident. Plaintiff did not respond to this apology. Now, that's going to be an interesting one. And it's going to be interesting to see how Rusty and his team of attorneys explain that text message if it is able to be produced. My guess would be like, well, maybe he did get aroused. He didn't mean to, and he just wanted to say, hey, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that to happen. That would be my defense if I was in this situation. Does that mean it's the truth or not? I don't know. But that's going to be a tough one for Deshaun Watson and Rusty Hardin and his team to explain. Terrence said, after having to go to too many sexual assault and harassment classes and mandatory seminars in the military, things you do now with your significant other without getting permission can be construed illegal. Legally, you have to get permission to kiss, and then anything further steps away. I mean, that's with your significant other. That's not about a massage. That's not about what should have been a business transaction turning into a lawsuit. Do the other one, though. Let's do the other one. Here is the court case that was filed. So we're going to do a similar exercise. Let's go through and see what this says real quick. I will read you the summary, and then we'll kind of get through some of the actual background of it. Summary of the lawsuit. Defendant Deshaun Watson is an NFL player who currently plays for the Houston Texans. Plaintiff is a masseuse who owns her own company offering massage therapy. Watson asked for a massage from plaintiff in August of 2020. During the massage session, assaulted and harassed plaintiff by touching her with his penis and exposing himself. Watson's behavior is a part of a disturbing pattern of preying on vulnerable women. Plaintiff brings this case seeking the minimal compensatory damages that implicate this honorable court subject matter jurisdiction to prevent Watson from further like conduct. So very similar to the first one, very similar allegations. This one's a little more disturbing, and what I'm going to tell you is right now, as I read this, I want to give everybody a trigger warning. This one's going to be a little more disturbing, all right? So this is a little bit more in depth and in detail than the first one. So definitely wanted to respect everybody and say there could be some things that I read that could trigger you. So this is a full-fledged trigger warning for some of you out there. Okay. The plaintiff is a masseuse, owns and operates a business out of Atlanta. She is a single mom hoping to become a licensed massage therapist one day. She's planning on taking classes. She markets her business through Instagram and obtains clients in that manner. Plaintiff has been in the business since 2019. She's professional, never had any issues prior to experiencing the defendant's conduct. The defendant, Deshaun Watson, and plaintiff first made contact on Instagram via direct message where he expressed an interest in a massage in August 14th of 2020. Plaintiff routinely provides professional massages in people's hotels. Plaintiff had never worked with any athletes from the Texans organization, found it somewhat peculiar that an NFL player would seek a massage from her because she's not yet well established. However, which, by the way, a lot of this is copy and paste. And if you find that to be intriguing, or do you think that that's an issue, that a lot of this seems to almost be a boilerplate copy and paste from the previous lawsuit? Whether that's an issue or not, I have no idea. Says, however, at the same time, plaintiff, like many small businesses, had been actively trying to grow her business and expand her client base. And let's just go back here. Let's just go back to the beginning. Right there. In the middle of the screen, you can see right where my mouse is. Plaintiff found it somewhat peculiar that an NFL player would request a massage from her because she is not yet a well-known masseuse, and it was her belief that a player like Watson likely had the entire team of trainers and the like. Right here. Plaintiff had never worked with any athletes from the Texans. Plaintiff found it somewhat peculiar that an NFL player would seek a massage from her because she's not yet well established, and it was her belief that the player like Watson had access to the entire team of trainers. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know that. So I would defer to guys like Steven Uzik or Christopher Jones, who are lawyers, that is it common that if you were doing multiple lawsuits like this, multiple plaintiffs with one defendant, that you would copy and paste a lot of this? Not a COVID cough. I don't know. So anyways, we're back to this and we'll continue to read. Prior to the schedule, so they agreed on a schedule and the two began to discuss. They agreed to work together and discuss the schedule. Prior to scheduling, Watson described what he was looking for. He told plaintiff he wanted to specifically focus on his glutes and his groin area and asked if she was comfortable with working on those areas. He then asked about quads and the Achilles. Plaintiff indicated she understood Watson's request. Watson and plaintiff continue to exchange messages on IG. Watson and plaintiff then began talking on the phone. A massage was ultimately scheduled at the Houstonian where he had a suite. Watson flew the plaintiff out to Houston from Atlanta. So here's your trigger warning one more time. Plaintiff and Watson met at the hotel. Watson immediately got completely nude and got on the massage table with his penis completely exposed. Plaintiff firmly told Watson that he needed to use a towel to cover himself, as that was the appropriate way of conducting a professional massage. Watson refused. Watson told her to he gets hot easily, and for that reason, he wanted to remain completely nude. Plaintiff tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but started to think something was off, as this is not how she did massages and clients are supposed to be covered. Soon after, Watson kept aggressively redirecting plaintiff towards his anus. Watson asked plaintiff to use more and more oil on his anus. Plaintiff started to get uncomfortable, but again, she still wanted to give Watson the benefit of the doubt, and she needed the business and the money as a single mom of 2 children. Watson then got more specific and asked plaintiff to work on the inner part of his anus. Plaintiff ignored the request because it was odd and decided to start working on Watson's inner thigh. Watson got more aggressive, telling the plaintiff to go higher and higher towards his penis. Plaintiff said no. Plaintiff said no and said she was confused because this is not where his glutes were located. Watson kept insisting, saying, come up more and go here towards his genitals. It was at this point that Watson moved in her direction, causing plaintiff's hand to touch his genitals. Watson flipped over onto his back with his penis completely exposed. She said he needed to cover himself. Plaintiff grabbed a towel and handed it to Watson. He refused. Plaintiff began to grow more and more uncomfortable. She said she needed to leave. Watson grabbed her hand and started to rub her arm, pulling her towards and saying, it's okay, it's okay. Watson was still completely nude, exposing himself. Plaintiff called her. Watson then jumped in the shower and plaintiff exited the hotel. Plaintiff called her own Uber back to the airport. Watson only paid plaintiff half of what she was owed. Watson was supposed to pay for travel and didn't. There was a third one that I saw where, and again, I want to say another trigger warning here. Yeah, Steven Uzi says, I wouldn't read too much into that type of boilerplate language. Okay. There was a third one that I saw. One more trigger warning for you. Again, more detail. But the third lawsuit, and I can't find it yet, and I will do my best to find for you guys, but the third lawsuit claims that the third masseuse says that she was forced. Hey, PK, I'm giving out trigger warnings because what I'm about to discuss for this Deshaun Watson case could be disturbing. So if you're just joining one more time, this is a trigger warning for what I'm about to talk about, and I will try to find it for you. But the third masseuse talked about, she was also kind of forced into this type of behavior where he was touching her. And then she said that she felt scared that he was imposing in a much bigger figure. So she started and she went ahead and performed oral sex on him. That she was so nervous that she blacked out and also defecated on herself. That's how scared she was, which is heartbreaking to even hear something like that. So those are the 3 lawsuits we have right now. What we also know is there is going to be 3 more lawsuits that do get filed. There is going to be 6 right now in total. We have had, at first there was 4 women that came forward. There are now 6. As you see more and more of this, do you begin to waver in whatever your opinion was in the beginning? Does the boilerplate nature of some of this and the implications of text messages that may or may not exist, does this start to change anything? Does him getting Rusty hardened, does him, what does any of this change? Because I'll be honest with you, as a person who just has a feeling or feelings, one, you think, all right, let's just see how it plays out. 3, you think, is this a cash grab by Tony Busby? He's convinced some of these masseuses. 6 is a lot. If I'm being honest, 6 is a lot. A whole lot. Yeah, and Cancer, I keep using that as my example because I think there's a lot of people who originally said, there's no way. He's such a nice guy. I showed you a tweet yesterday from someone in confidence that talked to a guy who has a blue check, at his word, but said, if this is true, it would be the most shocking thing ever because not that guy. I just don't know. And Amos says, this is sounding more and more like that got flown out and Watson didn't give them as much money as they were expecting. I think that's a rush to judgment too. What's up, Luis Aleo, one of our chat moderators of the show? I think you have to be very careful, Amos, in any type of rush to judgment on anything. Oh, Eric Resendez over here sending coffee and hand claps. Thank you, buddy. I don't even know what those things are. Is that like I don't know what that is. Let's see, look, let me show you guys what I'm talking about over here. Like, this is what the live podcast on the audio or on the Podbean looks like. But Eric sent a cup of coffee and a hand clap. I don't know what that is, but thank you, buddy. Chris Reyes said, hi, Mom. No, your mom's not over here, Chris Reyes. I mean, she's not over in Podbean. She's over here. No, I'm just kidding. Katie on Podbean said, no matter how many it increases by, you only need one to be proven true. That's it. That's the thing. Tony Garza in the chat said, where there's smoke, there's fire. 6 is a lot. That's all I'm going to say. 6 is a lot, a whole lot. And the allegations are absolutely disturbing and saddening and sickening. And this is another theory that's out there that, again, this is a smear tactic by the Texans because rather than trade, they would like to void and have a reason to cut ties with him and not have to pay him. But again, I ask you, and again, I am not going to buy into this theory that the Texans have this smear campaign going because let's think about this for a second. You would get if we just talk about football on the field, you're going to get the biggest haul outside of maybe Herschel Walker in the history of trades in the NFL for Deshaun Watson right now. Why would you just want to be able to cut the guy? Why would you just want to not get anything back for him? That theory doesn't hold water to me. That theory, if the Texans are doing a smear campaign, they're the dumbest fucking organization on that, even dumber than they already look and act. Because to have this guy's name dragged in the mud, if that's true, if that's what's happening, so that you can cut him would be the most asinine thing ever. Go out and get several picks that this organization lacks. Go get picks. Go get young talent. Go get other quarterbacks. It wouldn't make sense for the Texans to do a smear campaign simply to cut him. Even if you're not getting what you think you should. Russell Wilson type stuff that was offered by the Bears. Something is better than nothing from Denver or San Francisco or Miami or wherever Deshaun wanted to go. So I don't believe this whole smear campaign. And again, I said yesterday, Justin Swinford, exactly that. Cal's too dumb to orchestrate something like this. I'm not buying that. There's either two things, in my opinion, that's going on here. Either one, Deshaun Watson is a sexual deviant and that's putting it nicely. Based on this, he's a rapist. If this is true, if this is true, if it's not true, then this is a cash grab by Tony Busby and some masseuses who either didn't get the money they wanted or whatever. And again, I want to reiterate, after saying both of those options, believe women. I am simply laying out possibilities. I am not telling you this is what I believe. I'm not telling you what scenario I believe. The only thing I'm going to tell you is believe women. Anytime a woman comes forward, we have to believe them until it's proven differently. It is too dangerous in this society and where we are to not believe women when they come forward. If it's, oh, well, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, then shame on those ladies. But what if it's not? What if it's not? We can't afford to not believe them. Back to this. What's up, Stephen Luther? So Tony says that's always the story, though. The neighbors or family members saying they're shocked the suspect is capable of such things. Exactly. Does something like this void Watson? We already did that. Virginia Baldwin, I'm trying hard to not have an opinion, but Houston is a huge city. Why would you fly in an unlicensed masseuse? Especially if you have masseuses from a team. That's a good question, Virginia Buttonween. Why would the Texans screw themselves? Yeah. Jen, same thing I thought. They want max value. Steven Uzik, the reality is that this won't likely actually go to trial. So there won't be any proof one way or the other. They will end up settling. Yeah. And let's talk about that for a second, because that's a good point, Uzi. Let's be real. I mean, that's what I've always tried to do when I do these types of shows, whether here, ESPN, or otherwise. Let's be honest. A settlement is as good as a guilty in the court of public opinion. When you settle, it's as good as guilty. That's the facts. Most of us, if we're honest in human nature, look at a settlement as there was something that they didn't want to come out. So they just went ahead and paid the money. And let's also be real. Lawyers like Tony Busby know that. There are some instances where females have made up allegations because they know that. Is that true in this case? We don't know. And I'm still going to believe these women. But Uzi makes a really good point. We're never really going to know unless this actually goes to trial, and even then it'll probably be settled. Terrence said, I still have my same opinion. If this did happen, it is horrific. If it's a lie, it's horrific. You can never be looked at the same way. You have to wear that scarlet letter. Trucker Taco, did we know if these women know each other? That I don't know. Oh, trust me, they're gonna look. Rusty Harden is gonna do his due diligence. If you think he's just gonna fly in there and be like, "Hey, let's give him some of his money," that ain't gonna happen. Rusty Harden is going to do everything in his power to defend Deshaun Watson. Marsha said maybe the assumption is, "Hey, I'm flying you in. I'm paying a good fee, so they feel entitled to an extra." It's still weird to do that though. Yeah. Not a COVID call. The question becomes from KD. The question becomes how many games he gets suspended by. Right now, he's getting at least 6. Juan Gonzalez says, does anyone know how to do picture-in-picture on iPad for YouTube? iPad's going to be difficult. You have to have premium, I believe. Virginia Buttonweed. Let's see. The only thing I am certain of is that the Texans will mishandle everything. That's Joe Pro. That's a fact. Eric Resendez, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Eric said, does the call-in work on the app Podbean? No, I disable that. The last thing I need to add to this is taking calls. If I had a producer, if I had someone sitting in this room that could go, you've got Eric Resendez on Podbean line 1, then I could be like, cool. Throw him up. Eric, what's up, buddy? You had a question or a comment regarding, like, it would be treated like radio. But right now, bro, I barely fucking start this hoe on time. I fucking forgot to read AR Platinum super chat yesterday. Yeah, I wish that I would have the ability to also take your calls because I think it would be good. Not yet. Let me work on getting a producer, which I am. The wheels are in motion on how can I get somebody to produce this show for me every day. We got to get through COVID before I could even invite anybody else. Plus, maybe we got to set up the BiffNet studio up in the Texas basement. So, Eric Resendez did have a question over here on Podbean. Could the DEA do something about it? The DEA, we'll find out. We'll find out. PK says the whole situation is just plain odd. It is, because I think people want to give him the benefit of the doubt because of the way he's worked in the community and the perception of Deshaun Watson as this young man that pulled himself up from his bootstraps and grew up with a single mom. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I keep going back to. As I think about this as just a human being, I know I was raised by my mom and my sister. And I think if you ask any woman that I've ever dated or been around, unless I was in a relationship with them, and even women that I was in I never, I don't hit on women. I don't do those things because my mom taught me that kind of respect. And, the women that I've dated in the past can tell you I open doors. I treat women with a certain level of respect. So in my mind, because I was raised by a single mom and two women, I default to, well, that's probably how every dude that was raised by a female only, where they get values from a female on how to treat women. That's what I default to. So that's why I think, wow, this would be so out of character for a guy that was raised by a single mom to treat women like this. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not something in their brain that thinks that they're entitled to that. Because let's be real, Deshaun Watson wouldn't, if true, wouldn't be the first player to think that, first NFL star, first sports star, first athlete, first millionaire to think that he's entitled to whatever he thinks he's entitled to from women. It wouldn't be crazy. Juan says, no go. You have to transition to the best manufacturer, Samsung. Katie, this is a little different than what Kraft did. Yeah, that's true. The only difference, Katie said, the only difference is as the player, he can lose everything. An owner have a better shot to get away with it. See Robert Kraft. Yeah, there's a big difference. Robert Kraft went to one of those massage parlors that fronts themselves as a massage parlor. That is a mutual transaction, though illegal. And that's a big difference here, Katie. Robert Kraft went to a rub and tuck where they know they're going to be at the very least giving somebody a hand job. That's why look, could you rape a prostitute? Yes. But that's not what this is with Robert Kraft. It was Robert Kraft goes there and says, do you guys jerk off? And they're like, yeah, totally. Get on the table. And then that transaction took place. It was consensual. The money was exchanged, all allegedly. And then that got busted for being a prostitution ring or whatever. Now, you could talk about sex trafficking and the victims in that. But again, this is more of assault and sexual violence. This was not consensual at all, if true. So big difference there, KD. Big difference. Amos said it's probably a civil case because the DA couldn't justify charges. I don't know that the charges were ever filed criminally. We don't know. At the very least, I promise you this. I mean, I'm not an expert, and Lil Uzi and Christopher Jones can correct me if I'm wrong. But at the very least, this would have gone to a grand jury. They would have looked and said, you know what, let's just send it to a grand jury. So, I mean, if there's text messages, those would have been presented, and this would have been deferred to a grand jury to decide. So, I mean, especially if there's 6 of them. What did Dimata say? Oh, no. Jid does enough already. TJ McLaughlin says that the human trafficking percentage involved in rub and tug parlors is astonishing. It is. You know, they always say, well, prostitution is a victimless crime. Well, not if you're going that route. Not if you're going that route. A lot of those ladies, you know, agree to come over here and do that just to be able to escape wherever they're at, or they've been kidnapped, or they've been forced into it and have no choice, no means of communication or way to get home. So don't just assume that when, you know, any of you guys, if you ever go to one of those places and pay for one of those things, don't assume that that's a victimless crime. It may not be. It's sad and tragic. Amos said the DA who's filed charges, if I'm not mistaken, they'll file the charges. Yeah, but it has to be presented to them, and then they decide whether to pass it to a grand jury. And then the grand jury decides, and then the DA would go ahead and pursue the case. My wife sat on a grand jury, and she said it was interesting because they bring you this stuff and you decide, there's enough, so there's not enough evidence. That's who ultimately would make that decision, is the grand jury. Okay, so there's your latest. I wanted to go over those with you. I pulled those up. So that's where we're at. Now, we also need to talk a little bit about PJ Tucker, and I'm going to have Kelly Iko join me at 3:30, so we're going to get into that. But if you didn't hear, the Rockets traded PJ Tucker, and I really wanted to talk more about specifically what this means for the Rockets going forward. And also, I wanted to talk about the Rockets draft options and opportunities, because with the PJ Tucker trade, the Rockets picked up potentially, well, there's no doubt, they picked up a first-round pick, because as part of the trade for Tucker, there was this thing where the Rockets had the opportunity to move up into the first round if the pick wasn't 1 through 9. So if it becomes a 15th pick in the first round, the Rockets could opt to take that and move up from the second round pick they have from Milwaukee, which they're absolutely going to do. And this is a deep draft. So at the end of the day, people are saying both sides won this. The Bucks got deeper, and the Rockets got some good, some draft capital, and, they got rid of a disgruntled guy and got him off the books. This is what PJ Tucker had to say. It's crazy, but for a place that I love with all my heart, I can't find the words to describe how much the city of Houston means to me. The city embraced from day one and stole my heart with all the love I was shown. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears on the floor and sacrificed it all to try and bring a chip to the city. H-Town, thank you for giving me some of the best years of my life. I won't soon forget it. PJ Tucker, all class, a class act. And, yeah. Wow. I'm going to read this. I don't want to read this, but I owed him this from yesterday. AR Platinum with another $2 super chat. Thank you for supporting the show. He said the human. Oh, no, that was, that it didn't click right. There's AR super chat. 1 PJ for 2 DJs. And Deshaun wants a BJ. Yeah, they got 2 DJs in the deal. If you didn't hear of what was exactly included in the PJ Tucker trade, let me pull it all up because it's important. So the Bucks get PJ Tucker and forward Rodions Kurix. I don't know. Rockets get DJ Augustine, DJ Wilson, and these draft pick deals. Pay attention. The key to completing the deal, this is according to For the Win, by the way. Key to completing the deal includes the redirecting of draft picks to the 2 teams that they had previously traded in the offseason. Houston is pushing back the 2022 first-round pick. Milwaukee owes it to the unprotected 2023 draft. The Rockets get the right to swap their 2021 second-round pick for the Bucks' 2021 first-round pick, unless the Bucks somehow fall 1 through 9, which it won't. They're not in the lottery. So, basically, the Rockets are going to get at least that first-round pick. Now, I want to also remind you that there is a chance that the Rockets might not get a first-round pick in the top in the top 10 because the Thunder get the Rockets' first-round pick this year, but it is 1 through 4 protected. So what does that mean? That means if the Rockets end up in the draft lottery getting the 5th pick in the draft, guess what? The Thunder will get the 5th pick in the draft, not the Rockets, because the Rockets owe them that pick. If the Rockets end up drafting 1 through 4, they get to keep it. All right? So 5 and on, it's the Thunder's pick, and they're going to take it. It's a deep draft. 1 through 4, there's theoretically, the Thunder could pick 1st and 5th in this draft. And they're saying that the top 5 are surefire can't miss prospects. Pretty sick. The Thunder are in a great position. So let's look at it. And again, we're going to talk more about the trade itself and what it means to the Rockets and PJ and the Bucks and everything with Kelly Iko at 3:30. So stick around for that because I'll bring in one of the best experts on the Rockets in the city of Houston, besides my guy Joe Blank. But Kelly, man, is in it. Like, he knows everything that's going on over there. But let's look at the Rockets' options as far as where they could be drafting. Their expected draft position is around 4. There's only one team that has a higher expected draft position right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And it's very likely that the Rockets end the season with the worst record because if we're being honest, they're tanking. I mean, you need look no further than last night's box score. Oladipo sitting, Wall sitting, Christian Wood came back. I mean, they're sitting their stars. They don't want to get Oladipo hurt. Apparently they saw with Eric Gordon what happened. It's very possible that they trade, Oladipo to Miami. There's talks of him going to Miami. There's talks of, there was another squad that he was rumored to be going to that's interested in him. So, I didn't believe they were tanking before. 18 in a row. I think they see the writing on the wall. They don't want the Thunder to get their first round pick. They're probably tanking and praying for 1 through 4 at this point. Now, had James stayed, I don't believe that would have been the case, obviously. Anyways, here's where their picks fall. They are the top pick in the draft. If you think the Rockets are going to get the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, then you need to know that they have a 12.6% chance of doing so. The fact that it would be a top 3 pick, they have a 36.9% chance. The fact that it would be a top 5, there is a 66% chance, and that they make the play-in is less than 0.1%. So there's like a 37% chance it's going to be a top 3. There's a more than half, or there's a 66% chance it'll be a top 5. And again, if it is the 5th pick in the draft, brace yourselves, Rockets fans, because the Thunder are going to get it, and this organization will be drafting at the bottom end of the first round because they'll flex that Bucks pick no matter what. They're going to flex that Bucks pick that they just picked up, that option that they just picked up in the PJ Tucker trade. But boy, it sure would be nice to have the 1st through 4th pick in the draft and then whatever the Bucks end up drafting. I don't care if it was, 28 or, 19, whatever it ends up being, it'll be nice to have. Joe Pro said it's going to be hard to out-tank the Rockets. It really is. Yeah, it really is. In fact, I was looking at last night's box score. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I love what I'm seeing from Kevin Porter Jr., even Kenyon Martin Jr. I love what I'm seeing from there. Rockets only scored 94 points. Christian Wood comes in the game, scores 21. Kevin Porter Jr. scores 25. Shawn Tate. Everybody, 2 points. Now, I understand he's probably guarding Steph. I don't know who guarded Steph. Was it Kevin Porter Jr.? Shawn Tate scores 2 points. Brown scores 4 points, and Daniel House Jr. scores 11. Now, I don't know why Kenyon Martin Jr. isn't starting, and that's probably a good question for Kelly IKO, but he put in 13 and 30 minutes coming off of the bench. If that's your sixth. But I'm looking at look at this. I found this interesting, and also I'll ask Kelly IKO about this as well. But when you look at the box score, when you look at the Rockets starters, small forward, center, shooting guard. So no true point guard. John Wall obviously out. I mean, they deem Kevin Porter Jr. to be a shooting guard, although he runs the floor. He knows how to be a point guard. That's why he was in the G League, to learn how to run this offense. So he's going to be probably categorized as a point guard. He's probably more like I'm not comparing him to James Harden, but James Harden was a hybrid, right? Shooting guard, point guard. That's probably more of what Kevin Porter is and will be going forward. So could he be, obviously when you move Oladipo, you need 2 guards on the floor. Eric Gordon will be gone at some point. Yeah, it's probably Wall and Porter Jr. So when you think about that, I tell you what, Wall, Porter Jr., Kenyon Martin Jr., Christian Wood, that's a pretty solid 4. It's just not going to be happening right now. Kelly IKO thinks that Ben McLemore is going to be traded. So still a lot of moving parts with these Rockets. But if they're going to be putting up efforts like they did last night with lineups like they did last night, they're no doubt tanking. Did not play left knee contusion was for John Wall. Did not play right quad was Oladipo. And did not play left ankle sprain Ben McLemore. The only untouchable on the Rockets is Christian Wood. That's been stated. So it's very interesting that the 3 most likely players to be traded, Wall, which I don't know how they're going to move that contract, but Wall, Oladipo, and McLemore all sat out. Eric Gordon is hurt. PJ Tucker got traded. Very suspicious. Very, very suspicious. We'll get more into the Rockets, though, for sure, when Kelly IKO joins me. at the bottom half of the next hour. So it is 2:55. And before we go to the break, though, I do want to tell you guys it is still March. And I know you are thinking to yourself, you know, my poor wife, my poor partner, I need to give them a break. They go through the trouble of birth control and just, you know, we don't want any more kids. We've got 11 kids and that's enough. And I don't want my wife or partner to have to sit there and take the birth control and the hormones and all that stuff. So I want to give them a break. And you can absolutely do that at the Y Factor by getting a no scalpel vasectomy. Finish the job, fellas. Finish the job. Take a charge. Don't take a charge. Take charge. A no scalpel vasectomy at the Y Factor couldn't be easier. It takes less than 15 minutes. There's no scalpel, no needles. You get back to work the next day. It is time to finish the job and take it from a man, the Reverend Lord Chris Householder III. He is a deckhead, and he finished the job. He decided, you know what? It's time. I got enough kids. He went there and I asked him, I said, give me your feedback and I want you to be honest. And he said, fine, I'll be honest. It was painless. There was some minor discomfort, but it wasn't bad. And they could not have been better about communicating both pre and post operation. And that is straight from Chris Householder's mouth. Why don't you message him if you have doubts? But if you are looking to get a no scalpel vasectomy, finish the job and do it at the Y Factor, log on to theyfactor.com. That's theyfactor.com or give him a call, 832-210-2556. That's 832-210-2556. Hashtag finish the job. All right, time to get to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more sports, but we're also going to talk about Fashion Week. I've had enough with this bullshit. Total Dallas sent me some pictures, and we are going to discuss the most ridiculous shit I have ever seen in my whole life. Ever. We're going to talk about it, and I've got those pictures. If you're listening live on Podbean, hop on over to the YouTubes. You can watch there and see these ridiculous-ass pictures, or if you're listening on the podcast later, going over to youtube.com/Barry is funny to see the pictures that we're about to talk about. In the meantime, it's time for a 5-minute break. Go poop, go pee, whatever it is you do during the break. Rip a bong, take a shot. I don't give a shit. We're back in 5. For those of you that have been clamoring for it, I didn't have a better idea for a break video, so enjoy part 1 and 2 of Guy on a Buffalo. See you in 5.
One day the guy on the Buffalo was cruising around through the plain, seen a bear, and he thought to himself, oh man, I gotta get away from the bear. Hope he don't chase, oh no, he's gonna chase me. Oh no, I better just turn around and chase him back. 'Cause guess what? I'm on a buffalo. Guy on a buffalo. Hey bear, bet you didn't know you was chasing a guy on a buffalo. Look out, just watch him go. Guy on a buffalo. Oh no, it's a guy on a buffalo. A guy on a buffalo. One day the guy on the buffalo was riding around guy on the buffalo hopped off to stretch his legs, walking the field. Hey, what's this in the weeds? It's a baby. Awesome. He put it in a saddle, hopped on, humped it up a hill and across the plain. Tried to cross a river. Not gonna happen, man. You're riding on a buffalo, member, but keep the baby afloat. Get your guy on the buffalo. Gotta find your friend. She's paralyzed. Guy on a buffalo. Hey, you want this baby? It's cheaper than adoption. Guy on a buffalo. You're welcome, lady. Gotta move it on my buffalo. Guy on a buffalo. One day the guy on the buffalo walked off to do some hunting. The buffalo said, no, don't do it, man, by yourself. Guy said, I got this, I don't need you, buffalo, it's just a deer. And normally the buffalo would have his back, but he was chomping on some grass in the field. And just about the time the guy got ready to shoot, he straight up got mauled by a cougar. Where's my buffalo? When I meet him, oh, he's got problems of his own, I understand. Hey, guy on a buffalo, you're gonna have to just punch that cougar in the face. Get out of here, kitty cat, beat it. And hey, wolf, I got something for you, it's a kick from buffalo. Hey, varmints, don't mess with the guy that's riding on buffalo. Don't do it.
Hey, welcome back to hour number 2 of Barry on Deck. I'm your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for sticking around through the break. That was Guy on a Buffalo, part 1 and 2. If you were clamoring for it, you got it back. If you've never seen it before, you're welcome. It's one of the most hilarious things on the internet. Next week, I'll play episodes 3 and 4 at some point for you. Maybe on a day when I forget to create a video and I'm scrambling for something. Not that that happened today. Me scrambling at the last minute to start a show with not prepared. Are you kidding me? Come on, fam. You know me. Oh, I had to burp. That's my bad. Guy on a buffalo likes my birthday. What? Oh, feels like my birthday. I was like, what the hell was that? Yeah, so there was that's Guy on a buffalo. By the way, Francisco Barca, I just saw your tweet. Francisco always tweets out the show, which I appreciate, because when I beg you guys to bring people to the show, that's part of what it is. Help me promote, tweet, post on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is you use. Carrier pigeons, smoke signals, I don't give a shit. Francisco tweets the show every day for me, and I appreciate it. Today said, I'll never not enjoy shows by Barry is funny. Such a unique content king streamer. Just go look at the tweet. It's on. I tweeted it at Barry is funny. It's good shit. It's really good shit. All right, so let's get this show rolling, and as hour number 2 is upon us, because I want to talk about this fashion week. Now, I'm not a high fashion guy. I don't consider myself a bad dresser. I'm kind of a snazzy dresser, you know, as my grandma would say. Oh, that's a cute zoot suit. You're such a snazzy dresser. No, it's not a zoot suit. It's just a suit. But I am not the most fashion forward. Some of what I see, the likes of James Harden and Russell Westbrook and even PJ Tucker, rest in peace. He didn't die, he just went to the Bucks. I would see these and question several decisions that were made. But even what I'm about to show you, I mean, this defies all logic and explanation of what fashion is. Because when I think fashion, I think, you know, like I remember when skinny jeans were a thing and I was like, there's no way. And now it's all I own. Now they're stretchy skinny jeans because I'm still fat. But you gotta have, I like the fit. I like it. So I don't know how to explain what I'm about to show you. And again, if you're listening on the Podbean, first of all, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for. Yeah, the mic was on live during the break. I keep forgetting to. If you're on Podbean, the mic is hot, and I always forget to mute it. It's the worst. So hopefully I don't say anything racist over there. Get canceled on the Podbeans. But if you're listening over live, then you need to come to the YouTube, youtube.com/BarryIsFunny, or if you're listening to this later, because what I'm about to show you defies all logic. What in the absolute all-fired white person fuck shit is this? Can someone explain to me the relevance in the fashion world? Yes, I will definitely blame whatever I say into a hot mic on my diabetes. Oh, Cece says she has that in black. You have this one, Cece? Is that the one you have? That's the one you have? Is that you, Cece? If you're not seeing this, if you're not watching this, you are missing out on the most ridiculous fuck shit you've ever seen in your whole life. I want to know what they're thinking. What is upside down sex swing pantsuit fuck shit is this? This look, first of all, the first picture on the left, that is definitely sexual right there. You cannot tell me that she doesn't have a mouthful of muff right now. There is no way you're going to convince me otherwise. And I'm going to tell you all right now, we're going to break down these outfits and what we got going on in the middle section. Is that wet or is that fucking padding on her pantsuit, the one that's upside down? We're going to talk about why the one on the right is doing the field goal upside down. But I'm going to tell you what the real tragedy in all this is. I'm going to tell you what the real shamockery is. It's these goddamn sandals. What in the fuck is up with these sandals? That's the word, I think. Not the upside down women. Not the sex swing, cape wearing, strap. And why does the chick that's upside down have better shoes on than the one walking around with somebody hanging off their chest? It's ridiculous. I mean, this is the most ludicrous. For someone to sit there, you pay all this money. You're like, yeah, I love to be up on the latest in fashion trends. Hanging someone off your titties is not a fashion trend. Walking around in the sub 69 position is not a fashion trend. It's just y'all being a bunch of fucksticks. Why are you trying to pass this off as fashion? It is fucking ridiculous that they would even sit there and make people pay money to go to a fashion show and then be like, oh, this is our latest collection. It's the 69 collection where you just walk around with another fucking human being on your body upside down, just killing your back. Whoever the designer is on this should absolutely be barred from any fashion show or making fashion ever again. It's literally an assault on all of our intelligence to try to tell us that this is fashion. This is flamboyance and ridiculousness and just absolutely ludicrous. That's all this is. Now you can say, oh, well, you're out of touch. You're out of touch because you don't like wearing people on your body. What? Fuck you. First of all, now, I mean, like, if Nora wanted to walk around like this, I'm too old. I'm just going to be honest with you. If Nora was like, oh, that's a cute outfit, why don't you get one? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not wearing that. It's too much. Now, the actual outfit that the lady that's being hung upside down that's wearing, it's kind of, I ain't mad at them shorts. But to try to walk around with a person on your fucking body is ludicrous. It's absolutely ridiculous. TDP said, we need to see, you can carry Oliver around. A fucking carrying case for Oliver. I got a cage that's got a handle on it. I'm not walking around 69 in my cat. Are you what on earth? Why would I walk around 69 with my cat, Francisco? It's not Kanye, Terrence. You shut your dirty whore mouth. Is that really Kanye that designed this bullshit? How would I even Google this? 69 fashion show. I don't even know what the fuck. Okay, I found a link. I don't have a video. Oh, no. Here's the man himself. Rick Owens is the sometimes controversial, how about all-time fucking idiot, American fashion designer behind the line. Let me just share this fucking screen with you guys. You're not even going to believe this bullshit. Look at this. Would you look at this shit? It's called the Human Backpacks. Full frontal nudity. Oh, wait. I better not show the nudity. Let me hold on. Look at this. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I mean, I better not. I got to stop scrolling. I'll end up showing nudity on here. Paul Talbot said, just joined it. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Paul, tell me. Paul, don't you lie to me, Paul Talbot. God damn it, don't you lie to me. Right now, Paul, you're on the witness stand. You have to swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Paul, I want to know, Paul, would you wear this? I mean, it's summer ready. Would you, if your wife was like, I don't feel like to the golfing tournament, you'd be like, you don't have to walk. Just get on the fucking 69 straps. Put on that cute short outfit I like and ride around on my fucking chest. Come on, Paul. You know you would wear this and a woman. You would wear this woman on your chest. That is the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And for this moron to sit here and try to tell us that this is fashion. Man, if you don't sit your stupid ass down. It's seriously ridiculous. He said those straps are pretty appealing. Come on, man. I mean, y'all, really. I just don't understand. Am I the only one that when I see stuff like that, I'm like, how do people sit there and watch this walk up and down the aisle and go, oh, it was a very bold decision. I really like the ensemble. I like that, the lines and the way that they cut through. And then, it's really more of a statement about carrying the burden of your own sexuality. What the fuck? No, it's a 69 suit. That's what it is. I want to know if they paid these dumbasses to wear that. Yeah, if you're the model, that's a really good point, Paul. If you're the model, you're like, how much? We're going to give you $7 to take Felicia up and down the thing with her puss in my face and her face in my puss. No, that's not enough. I need at least $9. Ridiculous. It just blows my mind. Well, thank you for being here, Paul. By the way, I curse a lot. So, if you're at work, put in some headphones. But thanks for joining, Paul. Really appreciate it. You picked a great topic to jump in on. Listen, now when I see James Harden in a clear raincoat, I go, okay, not bad. Whatever James Harden wears or PJ Tucker wears, or I don't know who else is a flashy dresser, whatever they wear, I'm like, that's normal. That can't be any worse than 69 ladies. Oh, Paul with Deshaun's new outfit. One other thing I wanted to point out real quick. I mean, now look, I'm just going to say this once, but on the right, she looks familiar. Not the one hanging upside down, but the one on the right, the one carrying the lady. Yes, Paul, too soon. The one carrying the lady looks familiar. I can't quite place who she looks like, but she looks like somebody. The one in the middle, if I'm being honest, if I'm just throwing it out there, I mean, my first thought was, is that Antonio Brown? Now, it might just be the haircut, with the faux hawk. Bullshit, what the fuck did I just tune into? It's Fashion Week, bro. I mean, seriously, though, I did get a little Antonio vibe from thank you, Paul validated and backed it up. The one on the right, I can't place who it is. But also looks very familiar. And then this one, I mean, that also has a vibe, but I can't place her name. So they all look kind of familiar, but I guess, it's whatever. It's not Lupita. So there's your fashion week. I swear to God, if they don't get their shit together and quit trying to pass off dumbass shit like this, in fact, what I wanted to do was worst fashion week outfits ever. I was just curious to see where this would rank. Here's a Pinterest, but they show nudity on Pinterest, don't they? I better be careful here. Okay. Wow. Let me scroll through real quick. Make sure there's no nudity, because this one chick looks like a fucking cheese puff. Like, she literally looks like a fucking cheese doodle. Well, that's not nudity, but his dong might as well be hanging out. All right, well, we're good enough here. So here are some of the worst outfits ever. Are you ready? He said, I gotta stop watching the show on the big TV. The garage door open. Yeah. Here you go. Here is some of the worst outfits from Fashion Week ever. I mean, look, that first one with the pillow head, I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I don't know what's going on with the old lady. Yeah. How sad is that Jabba the Hutt? Look, I don't know. That's kind of like, she looks like, wasn't that the creatures from Dune? I don't know. I like the upside down umbrella. That seems counterproductive though. All that's doing is catching water. That one in the middle is Mork from Orc. This one right here, in the white spirals, that's definitely Alice in Wonderland type shit. I don't know what's happening with all the faces on the body. I like the gloves one. It's pretty. Hey, let me give you a hand. What else we got here? There's a spider. There's the cheese puff right there. Hell yeah. Okay, what? I don't know. That one's a Skittle. That's a Skittles dress. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Here's the cheese puff right there. You see her? Tell me that's not a goddamn cheese doodle, you guys. That's 1,000% cheese doodle. I recognize the one down and to the left of the cheese doodle from the Hunger Games. What's up, Jeff Bell? We're just going through some outfits for me. Where was the other one? Oh, there's some cool shoes. Yeah, who's rocking those bad boys? Right here. Yeah, I would totally rock those. And there we go. There's a bird cage. So, what is that? That's House's ghillie suit from Call of Duty for sure. I know that for a fact. That's what House wears during Call of Duty. That's a fact. Yeah, that's House's outfit in the game. I just listen. I'll just stick to my t-shirts. We need to make you a tiny hands tiara. Oh, that would be great. That would be the best. I'm totally down for that. All right, so that was your fashion for the week. One more thing, because Kelly IKO from The Athletic is going to join me at 3:30 to talk Rockets. So before we get into that, actually, before we even get into this next topic, I do want to tell you guys about Dan's Seafood and Wings, because it is crawfish season. And if you want the best crawfish in the city of Houston, hands down, you need to make your way over to one of the two locations, either in Gessner on Southwest Houston or on Uvalde in Northeast Houston. It's Eat at Dan's. Dan's Seafood and Wings is the best crawfish in the city. Don't at me, hoes. I'm telling you. It's the best, and I'm telling you right now, the pro tip is to get the boiled spicy shrimp combined with the crawfish. They're doing the boiled eggs like people have been doing this year. They've got amazing flavors for you. They got the garlic butter seasoning, mild, medium, extra spicy, whatever it is. My brother-in-law Ray Lucio took the crew out there yesterday. They had Dan's. They said they loved it. Cece, Donna, Fidel Limon all went to a trip to Dan's, said they loved it. Francisco Abarca swears by the lo mein at Dan's. I'm telling you right now. Want some of the best seafood in Houston? Check them out. Go to eatatdans.com. That's eatatdans.com, or hit them up on Instagram at eatatdans. Thank me later, because your mouth will. That's probably not a good saying. I'll come up with something. Dan is probably like, bro, you can't do that. It's not even Dan, it's David too. But I bet David too would be like, no. No, Kelly's going to talk. We're going to talk the PJ Tucker trade. We're going to talk about Eric Gordon. We're going to talk about next steps. We're going to talk about the juniors. We're going to talk about draft. We're going to talk about everything but Deshaun Watson. I have spent almost probably 2 hours over the last 2 days talking Deshaun Watson. So we're going to explore something else for sure. Donna said they're going to Kobo's on Saturday. Oh, dope. My guy. I wish I could make it. I have a show Friday night in New Braunfels, and then I will be driving back on Saturday, and then I have a show Sunday at the Houston Improv. I'm doing couples therapy. So if you're bored in Houston on a Sunday, want to watch some comedy, come hang out at the Houston Improv, Alan Adams couples therapy. I'll be doing that then. Well, we're going to talk. I promise you this Rockets talk will be interesting. It's not going to be about, well, what's wrong? Why aren't they winning? I mean, we know what's wrong. They're tanking. So, yeah, Cece, I got a show Friday. I got a show Sunday. I get my second dose Sunday. And then I am full steam ahead trying to book comedy gigs and get paid and actually make some money to pay the bills. Pretty excited about it. Hey, how many of you have cut the cord completely? Because, Paul said, I wanted to hear some of the recent news about Deshaun Watson. So head back to hour number 1 of the show and then yesterday's, because I literally spent an hour and a half on it, Paul. Literally an hour and a half yesterday and today talking to Deshaun Watson, giving my thoughts on it. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to rehash it again for those that have watched all 4 hours. That wouldn't be fair to them. But, I mean, I gave my thoughts. Bottom line, Paul, I mean, if you want the elevator pitch, the 1 minute pitch, my thought is believe women. Let's wait to see what happens and fuck Tony Busby. Those are my thoughts. So, I mean, if I was, that would be it. Fidel Lamone, thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate you supporting the show. Thank you for sending in the $2 super chat. He says, why do you say my whole name? Just Fidel. Because that's not how it works. Sometimes PK doesn't like me calling her PK, but she's PK. You're Fidel Limon, Gregory Vega Jr., Toto Dallas, Francisco Abarca. I mean, that's just the way it is, Fidel Limon. When you tell me don't say your full name, you know goddamn well I'm definitely going to say your full name. Fidel, don't. Virginia Buttonweed knows, VB. Yeah, I'm telling you, you don't get to pick your name. You don't get to pick. This isn't how it works. CC said Fleemon. Yeah, the Reverend Lord Chris Householder III. He's not even a third. So, listen, you get the names you get. BTK, you think BTK wants to be known as the BTK killer? No. Steven, I don't even say his last name right. It's not even Uzik. It's because I said it's Uzik. It's not Uzik. But tough shit, he's Lil Uzi. So what he is, he's Steven Lil Uzi Vert. He's like, he corrected me. He's like, but it's not Uzi. I don't give a fuck. It is. It's Uzi now. See, Matt Poche said I'm used to people saying my full name. Yeah. At least you quit saying Mr. Jones. Yeah, but I never know whether to call you Chris or Christopher because you show as Christopher Jones. I mean, you're a lawyer. I respect Miss you Jones. Truck driver Pookie said, say my full name, damn it. No, I'll just say TDP. You don't always get truck driver Pookie. Why don't you pick a longer goddamn name? Truck driver Pookie, where I have, it's a nice truck, but it's not the best. Like, that's too fucking long. Jeremy Benninger said, I just got called a raggedy bitch by Barry. Yeah. You're a raggedy bitch. What do you want me to tell you? Jeremy Benninger. I didn't know how to say Jeremy's name when he was a moderator. I was like, I hope that's right. He said it rhymes with vinegar. I was like, that I can do because I'm a fucking idiot. That I can do. One thing that I wanted to get to that we are going to discuss after I watch it for sure. But can someone tell me why this new Justice League movie needs to be 4 goddamn hours? Why? What's the dude's name? Zack Snyder? Zack, you ain't got nothing better to do than to make me sit through a 4-hour movie? I'm going to try to watch it this weekend. I will probably, truth be told, I'm not going to watch it tonight. I'm not going to watch it tomorrow. I'm going to drive to New Braunfels. I'm going to do my set. When I'm done, I'm going to go back to the hotel and I'm going to stay up for 4 hours and watch Justice League. And then I'm going to come in on Monday and give you my opinion on the show, whether I like, whether I didn't like it. Obviously, I'm going to tell you it's too goddamn long. But what's crazy, hear me out, is a lot of us will say, oh, it's a 4-hour movie. That's too long. But then you'll sit down and binge watch 10 1-hour episodes of another show. What's the fucking difference? It's just telling a story. Now, again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know if it's good or not. And to give my opinion, and you sons of bitches better not spoil it in the chat or I will ban you for life. But I'm looking forward to it. I don't mind, some people taking artistic license to do certain things. But just don't be too corny and campy and all that. And I watched Superman versus Batman. I thought it was a weird concept, but whatever. They try to make money. Oh, Ray said, let's Ray Theater BOD outing. Here's one thing I wanted to do. It probably won't happen tonight, Ray, because I stream every Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch, twitch.tv/Barry is funny for those of you that don't tune in. On Tuesday, normally I play Call of Duty with the fellas, and then I decided, you know what, it's getting old and repetitive from a streaming perspective. The games are different, but so I thought I'm just going to hang out and talk. So I did that on Tuesday. I had a lot of fun. Probably going to do that again. Just hang out and bullshit. A lot of people said it reminded them of the nightly live chats. So, yeah, probably just hang out and shoot the shit on Twitch tonight from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock and then stream with KD and the fellas after that. But what I wanted to do, thank you, Mr. Pelt. He said Tuesday's Twitch stream was great. Thank you. What I wanted to do, thank you, Matt Poche. Thank you, PK. What I wanted to do was actually do a watch party. I wanted to, because if you have Amazon Prime and you are on Twitch and an affiliate, I guess you can do a watch party. I think actually anybody could do a watch party, and anyone can watch with you as long as they have Amazon Prime. So my thought is I want to find something that we could all watch together, and then I'm just going to do a watch party one Tuesday. My initial thought was to do Borat. Borat? However the fuck you say it. Borat, Brat. You guys. I'm gonna watch Borat and do a watch party. So we'll do that. And I'm looking forward to that. So I've already seen Coming to America too, so it won't be. I want to do something I haven't seen yet, so you guys get my actual real reaction as we watch it. So The Walk by Story was great. Oh yeah, that was weird shit. Hey, speaking of weird shit, just kidding, Kelly Eco, you're not weird at all. Joining me on the show right now, my buddy, my pal, my guy. Here to talk Houston Rockets and NBA. He joins me on Barry on Deck every Thursday at 3:30. It is Kelly IKO of The Athletic. Mr. IKO, how are you, my friend?
Doing good. It's actually kind of sunny outside. Nice change of weather.
I know, right? It's feeling good. It's not too hot yet. It doesn't feel like we're in the doldrums of a pandemic with the ice. I mean, the ice storm, you were just like, yep. And then rain, you were like, yep, this is all pandemic. It's just 2020 version 2.
Yeah.
It is feeling. Do you feel like a weight has been lifted off of you with the nice weather?
No, not really.
Fair enough. It's still right. It still sucks. Look, man, we got a lot to get to. Stuff is happening around this Rockets team and around the NBA. Moves are being made. The trade deadline, we're 7 days away. We're a week away from the trade deadline. So I guess on next Thursday, you and I are going to have a really interesting conversation, right? Because that's going to be trade deadline day for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk PJ Tucker. Let's talk about this deal for the Rockets. I just want your opinion. I saw you had a great article on it. By the way, you guys go follow Kelly IKO on Twitter and subscribe to The Athletic so you can get his insight and takes on all of this stuff, Houston Rockets and NBA. What were your thoughts? What did you write about?
Well, the main theme of what I wrote was that it was a deal that was open. PJ's time in Houston was clearly up. They're in two different directions that, as an organization and as a player, he wants to contend. The Rockets are in a rebuilding mode right now, transitional period. And the Rockets wanted to do good by him and sending him somewhere where he could still compete for a championship, as well as trying to get as much value back for him as it could. Now, getting the 2 first-round picks to swap and trying to move up at like 5 or 8 spaces is pretty good value for him at this stage. They also got back DJ Augustine, DJ Wilson, 2 guys who may stay, who could be moved again. But the overall theme of the trade was it was just time for both people to move on, and they did.
And he didn't fit here. He didn't fit going forward. You know, the DJs that they got for him, I saw one trade evaluation said they felt bad for DJ Augustine because this was his chance to win a championship. They felt like the other DJ might actually benefit from getting some playing time on this squad, especially when as bad as they are right now. But the picks are the intriguing part. And I think that's where, I think both teams won the trade, right? The Bucks got the depth that they were looking for. They got another weapon in the corner to knock down threes. If they want to go small ball, they can do that. They can put him in small forward. I mean, hell, at one point, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Kelly, but at one point, PJ Tucker was a point guard. He could literally play any position on the floor, and that's great depth going into the playoffs for the Bucks.
Well, for in PJ's case, now obviously his game has changed a lot since his younger days, but now the role that he's in, a switchable forward who can guard 1 through 5, someone that the Bucks can have on the floor to close games, is going to be huge for them. They've been searching for that extra piece, you know, in times where they have to move away from Brook Lopez off the floor if they're going small. Now you have a guy in PJ that can do all the dirty work, take up all those possessions, and help Giannis, help Chris Middleton, help Drew Holiday get stops. So I think for him, it's going to be kind of a sigh of relief, getting to go somewhere where he's around guys that want to win and a winning mentality, getting a chance to compete again at the highest level.
Does PJ Tucker have a better chance now with the Bucks of winning a title than he ever did with the Rockets?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, I think the East has gotten considerably stronger this year with Philly, Brooklyn, of course, you know, Milwaukee. We still have guys like Indiana, Miami, sleepers like that.
Yep.
So in terms of
No, you're good. I just put you full screen. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
I just want to give you the floor. I'm basically giving you the floor. We're still good. I promise you. I'm going to do that to you from time to time. We're good.
So in terms of him getting the chance to compete, I think, you know, it's a really good shot of making the finals. They do have to get through Brooklyn, which is by and far the best team in the East right now, in my opinion. But if you want to compare it to the Rockets' best years, the Game 7, of course, I don't know. I still think if Houston somehow got past the Warriors, they could have, you know, gone on a ship. But the Bucks are a formidable team, and I think this is a really good shot this year of making the finals.
So the Rockets get the picks, and I think that's good. You know, they have the right to move up to grab Milwaukee's pick as long as it's not 1 through 9. So it's 1 through 9 protected. Milwaukee ain't drafted 9th or better this year. It's just not going to happen. So the Rockets essentially pick up another first-round pick in a deep draft. And I was breaking that down where, you know, they could potentially pick 4th or better and, you know, back into the draft and get another asset in a really deep draft. So I say all that to ask you this, point blank. Is this team tanking?
Or Houston?
Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think. The thing about Houston is that yes, the past month has been dreadful basketball, but I don't think that those guys are actively trying to lose. I just think they could try their hardest to win and still lose. Like, they've lost 18 in a row. So they've lost any way possible you could imagine, you know, losing leads, coming back, just stuff like that. It's just been awful. So I don't think they're actively tanking. No, I think they're still prideful guys that when you see John Wall, you see Oladipo, you see Stephen Silas. Hell, his first year as a head coach. I don't think he would wait this long to get a job and want to lose games on purpose. It doesn't make sense.
Unless Kelly, Rafael Stone and Tillman Fertitta and everybody sees if we get a top 5 pick, we could literally replace James Harden with another cornerstone piece along with Christian Wood. Forget about everything else. Forget about Wall and any other trade. You're talking about you want to rebuild quickly, add 2 studs like that, and this team is immediately a playoff contender if they get a top 5 pick along with Christian Wood next year. Not guaranteed playoffs, but they are definitely a contender.
Right. So I don't think that they're trying to tank, but I don't think they
mind it.
I don't think they mind it. I don't think they're mine, if that makes sense. Yeah.
But because, and look, I asked this and a lot of people are saying it. And when you see the bottom last night and you see that Oladipo is sitting out with a quad and John Wall and basically all of the names that could be traded before next Thursday, before we talk again, Wall, which I don't think they're going to move his contract, but maybe. But Wall, Oladipo probably gone. Ben McLemore, you brought up that name before. If Eric Gordon was healthy, he probably wouldn't be playing because he'd have some mysterious injury. It just looks a little sus that those guys really aren't playing at all. And we know Christian Wood is untouchable and he's back in the mix. You can see why people would at least think that they weren't trying their best, right?
Well, in Victor's case, he did play, I think it was 41 minutes the previous night. And as you've seen the last 3 or 4 years, the Rockets tend to keep those guys off one of the two of the back-to-backs, like Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. They tend to not to overplay those guys.
Fair enough.
But I've been seeing it on Twitter, like I said, that he's sure playing good right now when the deadline is a week away. But that's
showcasing.
But
I mean, he's showcasing, right?
But I mean, look, anything he's doing is increasing his value right now because he's showing that he can still be a productive player. Even off the injury, he's still someone that if you're a contending team or a team on the the mid range, you can still add him to your increase your profile that much. So I think anything that he does positive is not only good for himself, but it's good for Houston.
Well, I was going to say, let's think about it. Let's evaluate it from a different perspective. Oladipo goes out and drops 34, gets national coverage for his game. Would it surprise you if he didn't play again till the deadline? Because that's the signature game that teams can look at and go, well, he still has it. Because if he goes out tomorrow or next game and puts up, 8 and 3 and just running around, whatever, on a bad team, like teams could look at that and go, I don't know, because he's coming back from the injury. He wasn't even in Indiana when he left. But that's a way to say, look, he can still go out and give you 34 in the playoffs. Come get this dude and give us something good for him. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's the case, but that wouldn't be surprising either. Hey, go out and give us one great game. You won't have to play again until we trade you.
Well, I think he did have 2 really good games on national TV against Brooklyn, where he scored, 37? Mm-hmm. And this week when he scored 34, I believe. So I think teams are well aware of what he can do. It's just he's been hurt for so long, and see how he fared coming back. And we've seen the ups and downs of his season so far, especially with the ball in his hands. He hasn't been that great in pull-up situations. He hasn't been great driving, but he's been really good at catch and shoot situations and just spacing the floor and opening up lanes for other drivers and stuff like that. So Victor's still a good player. I would, if I was an opposing team that wants to get him, like maybe a New York or Denver or something, I wouldn't be surprised, or even a Boston. I wouldn't put too much stock into the ups and downs of his season so far.
By the way, I totally forgot that I didn't even use your background.
Yeah.
I didn't even, what was I doing? Why didn't you remind me? Why didn't you say, hey, bro, I'm not continuing with this until you put up my fancy basketball background with my name on the screen. You're going to put some respect on my Kelly Eco name, homie. But you didn't even say it. I just realized. I was like, oh, shit.
It slipped my mind. I told you it's hot outside.
Mine too. I didn't even think. I was like, where's the basketball at? I'm like I'm watching. Like, I'm not even running all this. I was like, where's the basketball? I was like, well, you stupid ass, and put it on the screen. All right, next question. You can only pick one of the juniors. Yeah. Kevin Porter or Kenyon Martin, and why?
Picking Kevin. Because offensively, he just looks that much more potent. He's someone that the defenses already respect. His gravity is real. When he has the ball in his hands, he's a wizard with the ball in his hands. He's creative. He has the swagger. He can pull up. He can step back. He can drive. He has the vision to make off some nice passes for his teammates. He has that. He's that kind of player that has that it factor. Even as a second-year player who's gone through a lot in his first 2 years in his career, but he's someone that you can clearly see that he has the tools to be a great player in this league. He just needs the right system, the right support around him, and the right players with him.
Is he going to be a point guard or a shooting guard or a hybrid?
I think it's going to be a hybrid. I think it is going to be similar to how James came up in this league. Like, everyone knows that how James came up as a six-man and shooting guard. Then he eventually found out that his best skills on the ball all the time, and that's what the Rockets wanted him to do, to just play with John and handle the second unit and just be able to use his IQ and ability to lead those second units in reserves. So I think he is going to be a hybrid guard.
No doubt. I mean, look, if you have Kevin Porter Jr., Christian Wood, and you get a top 4 pick, it may be another year or two, but the rebuild is in full motion at that point. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Like this, I don't think, obviously, you've seen teams that rebuild that go on long rebuilds that keep getting picked. I don't think the Rockets want to do that. I think they want a quick turnaround, get a good guy. They have enough picks to now go ahead and make a trade for somebody else if that presents itself, and kind of get back to being a playoff team. I think Christian Wood is fantastic. John Wall, he's played well since he's returning. If they keep Victor, great. If they don't, they can get something back for him. Kevin is still there, and then you bring in somebody else, fill out the roster. You never know what this team could do.
Now, you mentioned John Wall. Last question for you, and then I'll let you go because I know you got a busy week ahead of you.
Right.
When it comes to John Wall and the Rockets, when can we expect him to not be a Rocket anymore? By the trade deadline? By the end of the contract? What's the future with John Wall and the Houston Rockets?
Well, for John, I think he would be here past the deadline. I think that would be pretty surprising if they dealt him at the deadline. He's played so well since he came back from the injury. As far as long term, I could see him staying a couple more years, maybe 2 more years. It's a good spot for him if he wants to get his numbers up. That's for sure. He's looked well. He likes being here. He likes the coaches, like his teammates, and Houston's a good city to be in. So I don't see why they would rush to move him unless obviously a deal came where they just blew them away, where they had to take the value from him. But I think John's pretty safe.
All right, last question, because I still have 3 minutes for 15 minutes no matter what. So, I mean, not no matter what. But last night, Giannis playing the 76ers. Do you make a big deal out of him sitting on the court? I know that was the big thing. They kind of felt disrespected, and then he's talking cheesecakes. Was it a big deal that Giannis sat on the court?
No. Giannis does something like this every year in midseason. At some point, he's going to make some joke about something. So I didn't put in stock. I think it was hilarious after the game whenever he's asking for how to pronounce the whiz wap.
The whiz, yeah. He's like, that don't sound right, homie. That don't.
It's kind of shaky. Yeah, I know, but I think like I said, the Bucks are a good team this year. They just got deeper with adding PJ Tucker, and he has reason to be excited about his chances. So especially with now Philly with the Embiid injury, they have some real chance to get up and make some noise here. So I do see why Giannis does that, and he's coming to his own as a player. He has to get that swagger, that confidence, and you need that stuff from your star player. So it was good to see.
Any reason to be concerned about Brooklyn and the injuries that we see them continue to have with Kyrie and Kevin Durant and James Harden having to be a one-man show?
Not if James keeps playing like this. I don't think so. I think he's fantastic. He's really cemented his place in that MVP conversation. Top 2, top 3, however you want to slice it. Until Kevin Durant comes back, I don't think they're in a rush to bring him back right now, given how well they're playing without him. If James can keep that up, Bruce Brown, the guys around him, Joe Harris, those guys around him, DeAndre Jordan, then there's no rush to bring him back. But if I'm Kevin Durant, I take my time because the long haul is going to come, in the playoffs. Anyway.
No doubt. All right, Kelly Iko, how can the people follow you on social media?
Kelly Iko, NBA on Twitter, on Instagram. Subscribe to The Athletic. And let's talk hoops.
Let's do it. And look, I'm subscribing this week. I was finally like, you know what? I've put it off, and I keep meaning to do it.
It's $1.
Yeah. $1. Why not? You're getting some of the best coverage in not just in the city, but in the country. Kelly Iko with The Athletic. Kelly, I appreciate you. We'll see you, man. Be safe out there.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Kelly Iko joins me every single Thursday. And my mouse froze up, so I can't get rid of his little box there. There we go. Always good talking hoops with Kelly. That dude knows his stuff, man. I look forward to it. Yeah, Paul Talbot, I saw that. Apparently, Will Fuller has signed with Miami. One less free agent on the market. In fact, what I wanted to do, I meant to do this yesterday, but I still have my link up of the free agent draft tracker. We know that Trent Williams is now re-signed with the 49ers. We know that now Will Fuller has signed with Miami. So let's take a gander real fast, shall we? At the latest and greatest NFL Free Agent Tracker for 2021. The highest rated unsigned free agent in the NFL right now, wide receiver Kenny Golladay. He was with the He was with the Detroit Lions. He has yet to sign with anybody right now. If we scroll down, the second highest rated free agent, safety Anthony Harris. And then below that, Melvin Ingram. You also have Juju Smith-Schuster. You have Alejandro Villanueva. So you've got some guys still available. Let's see. It probably isn't even on here yet. Where William Fuller, there it is right there. Number 40, Will Fuller signs with the Miami Dolphins, signed a 1-year deal. You know, if I'm just ignoring what's going on with Deshaun Watson, and I go back to what I talked to with you guys about earlier, I firmly believe Deshaun Watson will be a Miami Dolphin if we're just talking football, if we're just talking trades. I know he's come out and talked to Denver. I know he's come out and talked San Francisco. But he would have a familiar piece out there. They have the draft capital and maybe the player capital to pull that off. You got a young quarterback in Tua that you could plug into your lineup. Maybe go out and rock with him. If not, you got that Tyrod Taylor backup. Deshaun Watson to Miami makes a little more sense now with Will Fuller there, especially if they liked each other and they had a good relationship. Him and Will Fuller, he had his best year last year as a quarterback. And it was without DeAndre Hopkins. Pretty amazing. So, stranger things have happened. We just have to see what happens with this off-the-field stuff. But Will Fuller definitely in Miami now as a Dolphin, at least for 1 year, on a prove-it deal. Definitely on a prove-it deal. You know, he got suspended because of the PEDs and health issues have been a concern. So anytime you see an NFL guy like Will Fuller sign a 1-year deal, it's usually a prove-it deal. So there you go. The biggest name out there still available, Kenny Golladay. Somebody's going to need a receiver. I would be shocked if the Texans go out and make any big name signings like that. This is a team that I think knows they need to rebuild. And let's be honest, folks, the Texans don't have any picks. They need to be bad for a while. They need to be bad and gain some first round picks. Now, whether they do that, get some of those back through the draft because they've given away their first round picks. Like, they're going to be bad this year. The Dolphins are going to get their pick. So, boy, wouldn't it be great if you could trade Deshaun Watson to the Dolphins because of the Laramie Tunsil deal? You gave up your first round pick and get it back instead of the Dolphins ending up with, you know, a top 5 pick that would have been yours. You could get it back. What would it be? 2 or 3? Get that back. Get 18. Just makes sense in a lot of ways to me. But we'll see. Yep. And Total Dallas said, yep, the NFL gets new TV money next year. I know a lot of people, and I reported it on the show, but the salary cap was actually lower by, 10% or so versus last year. But don't let that fool you. Jerry Jones is no dummy. He didn't sign Dak Prescott to that deal knowing that the salary cap was going to be so much lower year over year. He knew. Jerry Jones knew that this TV money was going to make a big deal, that fans were going to be coming back and the money's going to go up, and so is the salary cap. So look for that to happen as well. You're going to free up some, more money for these guys. And yeah, that's also another reason to sign a 1-year deal. But I think in the case of Will, I don't believe it was just a let's wait for the salary cap. I don't believe that at all. I think that Will Fuller was definitely on a prove-it deal with the Miami Dolphins. So earlier we were talking Netflix. We talked Justice League. And this chick on TikTok freaked people out because she cracked the code. She cracked the code that it does exist on Netflix about how to unlock certain genres. And in this case, it was the crime documentary genre. And what she basically did is she figured out that if you go to Netflix and search for a code, it will unlock all the codes. I'm going to put this on the screen because I'm going to play you the TikTok video. Hold on, let me get rid of this. I'm going to play you the TikTok video. Take a look at this, and then we'll look at some more codes that exist. But check this out.
Netflix.
Yeah. So that's it. You just go and you search every single crime documentary and that pops up. So here are all of the different ones. If you're interested in any of this stuff, if you're like me and you like comedies, Well, if you come on down here to comedies, 6548. If you search 6548, it'll show you all the comedies. If you were looking for crime thrillers, search 10499. There's crime documentaries, 9875. So every category gets a number. If you search that number in Netflix, it's going to show you. They even have boxing movies, if that's your thing, baseball movies. Andy Huggins would look that up. Basketball movies, horror movies. You name it. My anime freaks, they got fantasy. They got anime features and horror and sci-fi. I didn't even realize there was that many goddamn categories for anime. All that is here. There's the kids. So, yeah, this was all on Bro Bible, but you could search Netflix category codes. Find your favorites. There's sci-fi. Find your favorites. Plug it into the search bar on Netflix. You're good to go. Pretty easy. Wait. This was pretty interesting because there was an article that was talking about, is it actually cheaper? Is it actually cheaper to stream with all these different streaming packages and cut the cord? Or are we paying more than we would be for cable? So somebody did the math. Paul said after earlier, I'm going to be searching for fashion channels. I mean, if that's what you're into, you weirdo. Here's the thing. A lot of us think cutting the cord is, the big thing about cutting the cord, let's be real. The big thing about cutting the cord is that it gives you control over what you want to. I mean, if you're at the mercy of cable, it's whatever they're running at that time on their schedule. Whereas a lot of us, if you go out and get HBO Max, you can watch on demand. You can watch whatever you want on demand. Now, I understand AT&T has their new service, which we're thinking about getting, that'll watch anything that they offer on demand instead of sticking to their schedule. But that was the big point about cutting the cord in the past, is you could get Netflix, you could binge watch, you could do whatever you want. You had some flexibility. You're still at the mercy of what they give you. You're still at their mercy, but you have a lot of other things that you can, a lot of other options and control over what you watch. So here's the thing though. Somebody evaluated the cost. If you were to go straight up, cut the cord, all streaming, and Chris Reyes said, get Fubo TV and Discovery Plus. Well, let's talk about that, because HBO Max is $15, Netflix is $14, Hulu is $12, the Peacock Network is $10, Amazon Prime is $9, Disney Plus $7, ESPN Plus is $6, Apple TV is $5. If you added all of that up, and then they even talked about that's $78. They even talked about the fact that there's other costs involved. If Fubo TV is $65. YouTube TV is $65. So if you went with one of those added in the mix to get your locals, Hulu Plus Live is $55. So you go from 12, you need to add another $43 to that number. Sling is nice, but it's $45. So all of that, you start getting up in the $150 range if you want to equal what all you get with your cable package. And then what's the difference? I mean, $150, that's a lot of money. What did cutting the cord get you other than the flexibility to choose what you wanted to watch, when, and how? Yeah, and Katie said, this is why I still have cable. I get the premium speed internet, and it's cheaper than getting all the streaming service, and you don't have to log into all of them individually. There's a lot of reasons why, especially now that AT&T has their on-demand, what is it called? It's like AT&T Prime or something like that. I don't remember what the hell it's called, but it allows you to basically, you get all of the Discovery channels and all that stuff, and you watch on demand when you want and how. So I'm not leaving cable. I'm still going to keep my Netflix and my Amazon Prime and Hulu and all that stuff. But at this point, it just doesn't make sense unless you're just a bare minimum TV watcher. Then I could see maybe going like a Hulu Plus Live. Oh, it's 70. And I said it was 55. Well, there you go. It went up even more. But Total Dallas said, because with just cable, you don't get the stuff on Amazon and Netflix. But I'm keeping those. I'm actually keeping those, and I'm lowering my Uverse by going with whatever AT&T's new version is. And again, I forget what it's called. I'm actually still getting the benefits of cable, but I'm lowering, and I can keep Netflix and Amazon and not pay as much. So my actual bill is going down because Uverse is cable, so to speak. Chris Belk said you don't get all those shows with just cable. Yeah, again, the package that I would get would equal what my cable is now, but for less money. So you can still, you still get all those, you get all those channels. You absolutely do. Don't you need special equipment to watch Apple TV? I think it's an app now, right? If I'm not mistaken, can't I just download Apple TV on my Fire Stick or on my smart TV? I thought you could. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know all about that. You guys are way smarter than that. Way smarter than me when it comes to that. Hey, listen, one more time, if you're listening on Podbean or you're listening to this as a podcast later, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for checking out the show. Please make sure you do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go to youtube.com/Barry is Funny and subscribe and watch the show live or later on repeat on YouTube. It's a visual show. Spend some time on these slides. I want to make sure you see them. Plus, you'd have missed all that fashion stuff. You'd have missed my avocado shirt yesterday. Lots of reasons, and none of them involve my beautiful face. All right, that is episode number 214 of Barry on Deck. We are done. Tomorrow is a fancy Friday. Copyright Justin Swinford, 2021. I will see you guys on Friday. Don't forget, Jerome Solomon's going to join me on the show tomorrow. We're definitely talking Deshaun Watson with Jerome Solomon tomorrow. Definitely. And more. We'll talk Tucker trade. Eric Resendez likes the app. I'm glad to see that, buddy. Thanks for listening over there on Podbean. Much appreciated. Until tomorrow, I hope to see you back, Paul. Thanks for joining the Deckhead family, man. We appreciate you being here. We're growing this thing. What's up, Jesus? Until tomorrow, you guys. I always end every show the same, and I mean it when I say it. Be safe. Be kind. What's up, Joe Hernandez? And most important, that's not the third one. Be safe. Be kind. And most important, love each other. We'll see you guys tomorrow for a fancy Friday where we'll be drinking and hanging out. Come prepared to have some fun. Daddy's making a YouTube video!